Hello, my friends, and welcome back to yet another episode of Meerkat Musings. As we continue our lockdown journey slash adventure slash, I don't know what you want to call it really anymore. To be fair, it's certainly not been awful, but it's been far from fun, and we still don't really know at this point when we can expect this to all come to its final end. It may be something that we kind of have to live with for many months, perhaps beyond, until a good, workable, reliable vaccine is actually found for this thing. Until that happens, we might have to abide by some form of social distancing. We might have to curtail major sporting events and that kind of thing, or at least maybe have some of these events behind closed doors. That's been talked about with both football and with Formula One, as it happens. So we may have to adjust our way of life for a considerable march of time until this is all finally over. And who knows how that's going to affect everything in the long term for all of us. It might lead to some new ways of thinking, maybe some of the excesses of society that we're all guilty of, in some way, shape or form, might ebb away. Perhaps the conditions which have allowed this thing to spread so quickly and so easily might no longer apply in the future. Who knows? It's very difficult to say. The future is a great big uncertainty for all of us right now. There is some light at the end of the tunnel. Recently it was announced, rightly or wrongly, that B&Q are reopening their stores under strict conditions, of course, and that gives me some hope, I guess, that my employers might reopen soonish. I don't know. It would be nice to get back to work. Sooner or later, there's going to come a point where, again, rightly or wrongly, the government says we're over this or over the peak, and we can begin to gradually reopen the country again. At which point, I'll be contractually obliged to go back to work. When the government gives businesses a green light, they will expect employees to return. Whether I agree with that or not, I'll have to go back to work. So I'll just have to get on with it under conditions which are safe, of course. And that's one of the things I think that would be stressed by the government, is that businesses, if they are to reopen, will have to make sure their employees are in the safest possible environment. And I'm sure my employers would do that. I don't doubt that for a second. I think they would do it anyway, to be fair to them, because they're pretty good like that, to be fair. So gradually we'll begin to have a restoration of normality. But maybe not the complete normality that we were used to before. And that's something that we'll have to, as I say, get used to. The world will be a somewhat different place than it was 6 months ago. And we'll all maybe have to rethink and reconsider some of the ways that we've been going about doing things. And then who knows, maybe 6 months from now, or 12 months from now, maybe this will be something that we have completely moved away from, and we've gone back to what we were doing before, rightly or wrongly, and this will all feel like a weird, distant blip. But part of me thinks that we'll be living with the consequences of this for a long time. Especially, as I say, until we develop an actual proper vaccine or a cure for this, there are things we're going to have to do differently. We're going to have to just be mindful that we can't live our lives in exactly the same way we did before. So things like, as I say, big sporting events, conferences, things like Comic-Con and that kind of thing, we might have to throttle back on those things for a while, which is a shame. It is a shame, but you've got to look after each other, and we've got to look after people who are vulnerable. And if that means that we don't mix and mingle the way we used to, or at least not for a long time, so be it. It royally sucks, because normally over the course of any given period of a month or two, my parents would have been down to see us a couple of times, and circumstances being what they are, with the job I'm in now, I might have been able to go up and see them, and none of that's been able to happen. So we've been very limited in what we can do with our lives, with our families. But it's all for a greater purpose. It's all for the greater good. As much as I say, it's been painful, there is the possibility that we'll be moving towards the end of this thing. And when it is finally all over, I think we're going to see the mother of all parties. My family in particular loves a gathering. It tends to get quite, how can I put it, rowdy? It tends to be quite energetic, shall I say. The drink flows quite freely, and it's the gathering of the clan, as we like to call it. And I think that'll definitely happen when this is all finally over. There's going to be a big party of some kind. There's going to be parties everywhere. When we know it's finally safe to do so, there's going to be lots of people that are going to go out and I think do what they can to maybe reconnect with other people that they've not seen for a while. And I think I'm going to be one of them. There's lots of friends I would like to go down the pub with, I haven't seen for ages. I haven't been able to do a lot of the things that I would normally do. Not that I'm a particularly wild party person, but I've got a close core of friends I would like to see again. And hopefully soon, guys, I will be able to see you again. When it's safe to do so, when we know we can do so without putting ourselves at risk or our loved ones at risk, then we'll get together. We'll have a few beers, have a laugh. We'll need to do that. We'll need to just release a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety that's been building up over the course of time, and it will come to an end. So we just have to keep our fingers crossed that somewhere, somehow, the powers that be do find a good, proper cure for this thing that brings us all to an end, and we can get on with our normal lives. But maybe, as I say, just reflecting for a second or two, we think about what normal is, what normal has been, how maybe that's led us to this point, and perhaps how we can do things differently in the future. This could be a wake-up call for the human race. Whether it is remains to be seen, but maybe, just maybe, it could be.